Hello and welcome back to the Sober Scoop. My name is India Gantz, and today we're going to be talking about how alcohol is everywhere. I received a DM on TikTok about somebody telling me a story of their addiction with drugs, and they were saying that quitting alcohol must be so much harder than quitting drugs because they don't have to see their drug everywhere they go. And I was like, wow, that's such an interesting perspective because truly, alcohol is everywhere. It's not like hard drugs where you have to kind of seek them out and they're not just out in the open and legal and available for purchase anywhere you go, whereas alcohol is all of those things. So, I am by no means saying one is easier or harder than the other, but that person just kind of had some empathy for alcohol, recovering alcoholics, I guess, whatever you want to call them, people who are quitting drinking. They had some sympathy for those people because it is so available everywhere. So today we're going to be talking about that. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the Sober Scoop. This is a judgment-free zone where we talk about how to get sober and stay sober. You're not alone. I hope you feel seen. Quitting alcohol is the best decision I've ever made. So I always say that quitting alcohol, breaking up with booze, if you will, is one of the hardest breakups you will ever go through. And part of the reason it's so hard is because you have to see your toxic ex everywhere you go. Okay, this we'll call it a person for the metaphor. This person, being alcohol, has ruined your life. It has really negatively impacted you. It's harmed you. It's made you look worse, feel worse, be a worse human being. And so you decide to go no contact. I am breaking up with booze. You go no contact, and then everywhere you go, you have to see your ex. What other breakup do you have to see your ex everywhere you go? You get invited to a party at your best friend's house, and guess what? She invited your ex-boyfriend. You go to a funeral, your ex-boyfriend's there. You go to a wedding, your ex-boyfriend's there. In fact, your ex-boyfriend might be at your own wedding. Imagine that. Alcohol is everywhere you go. And so it's really interesting to have kicked this thing out of your life. Like, I want nothing to do with it. But it is readily available everywhere. And it shows up when you don't necessarily want it to be there. And the crazy thing, too, is like getting sober was the best thing you could have done. You went no contact, you cut it out of your life. Goodbye, I am a better person, I'm healing. But yet everybody keeps asking you why you're not still with your ex. Oh, you ever think you're going to get back together with your ex? Like, don't you miss your ex? Couldn't you just go on one more date with your ex? That's basically what people are saying when they're like, are you ever going to drink again? Couldn't you just have one drink? Like, no. Going no contact was the best thing we ever did. So why would we want to go back? Anyways, I like the dating metaphor because it is quite similar. Or it makes a lot of sense, I guess, but it is crazy to have to run into your ex, which is alcohol, everywhere you go. I mean, even when you are grocery shopping, you're going to get your fruits, veggies, and meat and be a nice, healthy individual. And to get through to the back refrigerated aisle, you accidentally stumble across the alcohol aisle with wine lined on the right side and a cooler on the left full of beers and seltzers. And I know me, for one, I don't feel tempted to buy that stuff when I'm walking down those aisles, but I'm just like, throwback. Like, this is familiar. Used to frequent this aisle a lot. But yeah, alcohol is there when you're just going to do your grocery shopping. I posted a video about this online, and somebody said they were sitting and waiting for the bus stop, and plastered on the bus sign is like a whatever vodka ad or something. Like while they're sitting there for 20 minutes waiting for their bus, they're just like, why is this alcohol poster staring at me? And back to the intro where I got that DM from the person who is recovering from drug addiction. It is interesting that alcohol is legal and available everywhere. Let's see, cigarettes are legal. Weed is legal. But especially in these times, in 2025, those are not as out in the open as alcohol. There's not many things out there in the world that are like most people do them as far as like drugs or substances go. Like most people, I would say, most adults drink alcohol. I think you are the unique one if you don't drink alcohol. What else is like that? Cigarettes these days, it's like most people don't smoke. Weed, most people don't smoke weed, I would say. I don't know. Maybe I'm oblivious, but at least not to the extent that alcohol is used in society. And alcohol is available like at bars, at grocery stores. You don't have to go to the liquor store to experience booze. Like, for example, marijuana. They have like special stores where you have to go and get that. You can't just pick it up while you're on your grocery run. And weed is not available at the bars for you to buy while you're out. It's like, even though it's legal, you still kind of have to go around some barriers. And it still feels like something that you have to sneak around to do, whereas alcohol is so out in the open. What else is like that? The only other thing I can think of is coffee, where it's like most people, I would say, drink coffee. And it's like assumed in our society that you drink coffee and you are unique if you don't. So I guess coffee is kind of similar, but I would go as far as to say caffeine is probably not as addictive as alcohol. It doesn't send people as into a spiral as alcohol does. That's for sure. A side tangent. I was listening to the Skinny Confidential podcast, which I love, highly recommend. And one of the doctors that they had on was saying that caffeine is actually good for you to a certain extent. It helps with your metabolism and weight loss and like that category. But apparently there's something with the brain too that it helps. I don't know. I shouldn't even be speaking on it because I have no real evidence, but I just thought that was interesting. Like, especially since quitting alcohol, I don't shame myself for drinking a lot of caffeine. Obviously, we always want to be mindful. You don't want to be reliant on anything in life, in my opinion. So always want to be mindful of that. But yeah, I kind of allow myself to go a little crazy with the caffeine. I mean, when you quit a substance, I feel like there should be almost like a reward system. And for me, that's what coffee is. And especially when I go out to get a coffee at a coffee shop or Starbucks or something. It's like, that's my little sweet treat. And those rewards keep me going. For sure. Like, even now that I'm 15 months sober, and I feel like I'm quote unquote recovered, like I don't struggle that much with it anymore, with my sobriety. Like, I'm very comfortable and confident. I still have this feeling of like I deserve my caramel macchiato. Think of all the calories I'm saving. Think of all the money I'm saving. Like, I love treating myself. And alcohol was kind of a special little something, right? It's like, ooh, yay. I mean, it alters how you feel. It's different than like water or regular drinks. And so in sobriety, I feel like we also need to have little treats, little rewards. I just went on a walk just now to go get my favorite mango smoothie with boba and a scoop of ice cream. I don't even want to know how many grams of sugar are in that frickin' thing. Oh my gosh. But That's my little sweet treat. And it's fun to get fun things in sobriety, especially because when I was a drinker, I never had fun drinks or treats or anything like that. Because in every situation, I would rather have alcohol. And I would say to myself, why would I get a 500 calorie boba ice cream thing when I could have 5 Coors Lights instead? It did not compute in my head. And I also kind of said, well, if I'm drinking to the extent that I am, I can't also have ice cream and dessert and sweet drinks and things. So I branch out a lot more and I have a lot more fun, and it's really a joy of mine to experience fun treats in life. That was a tangent from our subject of alcohol being everywhere. Let's bring it around sound. Bring it back. So I want to give you some tips if you struggle in situations where alcohol is present. This could be that situation where you're walking down the grocery aisle and you just get triggered. You're like, oh my God, I'm back where I was. Like, I'm down the alcohol aisle at the grocery store. I'm tempted to buy a drink. It'd be so easy just to grab a tall boy and drink it. Like, if you get tempted in those situations, if you get tempted at parties, if you still like to go out to bars but feel tempted because there's so much alcohol present in the nightlife scene, at brunch, like anything, alcohol is everywhere. So I want to give you some tips for when you encounter alcohol out in the wild, when you don't necessarily want to be encountering alcohol. And you know what? This is coming at such a good time because, little story for you, I just spent 5 days with my grandpa. Love him. And my family from like a trip a few months ago left a bunch of drinks in his fridge. And he was like, can you take all those drinks that people have left behind? They're taking up all my space. So I was like, sure. And I go to clear it out. And of course it's like wines and beers and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to take this out for him. But what do I do with it? And then I thought, okay, there are plenty of people in my life who drink, like, my family members. I'll just bring it home and give it to them. This is again where I still to this day hold alcohol on a pedestal, and I really wish I could get over this. But I also think that I'm not a wasteful person in general, so that could be part of it as well. But I thought about just setting them on the side of the road, but then I was like, oh, littering, or the wrong person gets their hands on them. I don't know. So I thought about throwing out the drinks, and then I was like, oh, that's so wasteful. And I was like, why? Why do I think like that? I think it's partially holding alcohol on a pedestal, but then I think about, what if I had a 12-pack of sodas? I wouldn't throw those out, but that's because I drink them. So why am I so particular about not wasting alcohol? Why couldn't I have thrown those out? I'm not sure. I do think, like I said, I just try not to waste in general in life. Like, I always am really mindful of how much I'm putting on my plate because I do want to finish my plate. I don't like wasting food. I don't like wasting. I don't like buying things and having them expire. It makes me feel guilty and bad. So maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. But anyway, so I keep these beers and I drive with them the whole way home, 4.5-hour drive. I went through several different scenarios of how I could get rid of these. I was like, oh, I could leave them in my apartment lobby, but I don't want to get in trouble for that. And I don't want like somebody underage to get them. I thought about all sorts of situations. I thought about leaving them in the trash room so that somebody could just take them. Anyways. So what I decided was none of those. I kept the beers in my bag, like my, whatever you call that, duffel bag that I had brought with me, and they're just still sitting in there. I haven't loaded them into the fridge, okay, but they're just sitting in that duffel bag, and I'm like, eventually I want to give these to somebody. And I'm also like intentionally not unpacking that bag because I just don't want to deal with it. And I don't know what it is because obviously I'm not tempted, but this is my apartment where I live alone, and like I like that everything in here is mine. And when I lived with other people, there were beers in the fridge all the time, and it was no big deal because those belong to them. But here, if they're in my fridge, it's like they're clearly nobody else's, and I don't have guests over that often. So they're not going to get drank. Nobody's going to drink them in the immediate future. So I'm like, what do I do with these things? But anyway, that kind of goes into my first point, which is my first tip, is to shift in your brain how you view that alcohol being available. Like, yes, when you're walking down the grocery store aisle, that is available for purchase. Red wine, beers, it's available there for you to purchase. But just like you wouldn't buy cat food if you don't have a cat, you're not going to buy the alcohol if you are sober. It's there, it's available, but it's not for you. It's not there for you. It's there for other people. There are plenty of products at the grocery store that are not designed for you. Alcohol, that's not for you. So try to shift it in your brain. It's available, it's there, but it's not designed for you. So it's available to other people, but it's not available to you. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to use that perspective myself and just say, yeah, those beers are in my bag, but they're not for me. I'm saving them for somebody else. They exist, they're here, but it's not something that I will be consuming. So they're just there, you know? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like a little mental shift that can help. Another thing I want to mention is just back to that reward system. Like, if you're going into a situation where you're nervous, the alcohol will be available. Like, I think about the Mariners game. I live in Seattle. So a baseball game. It's like I used to literally go to the baseball games to drink. Like, it was a drinking event with a little bit of baseball, not a baseball event with a little bit of drinking. Drinking was the main event, okay? So I remember when I went to my first baseball game sober, and treating myself was key. And it feels really special because, like I mentioned earlier, when I was a drinker, I would never get the fun snacks or desserts, like Dippin' Dots or a pretzel or like the soft serve ice cream, like these fun things that they have at the Mariners game that I know, for one, I never experienced those because I was just so hyper fixated on booze. So the reward system really works. Treat yourself. And if you're going to a party, bring something really fun. Bring stuff to make Shirley Temples. Bring a pack of NA beers. Bring your adaptogen drinks like Hi-O or Recess. Bring your fun drinks that are out of the ordinary that you get to have at that party. Like, I think still having something special is key. So if you know that you're going to be in a situation where you might feel pressured because alcohol is present, redirect and bring something fun for yourself. And feel free to get that thing that is out of the ordinary for you. Get the cookie, get the ice cream, get the tea, the boba tea, anything. The cider. Like, sobriety really opens your eyes to all that is available. And all these situations where I would have instantly ordered a drink, an alcoholic beverage, now I get to explore what else is there. It's like, wow, oh my gosh. They have little pastries, or they have this dessert thing. They have this fun drink. Wow, I would have never done that. It's actually really quite special, and you realize how many good things there are in this world. I didn't realize that when I was a drinker, because I just would always choose booze over that stuff. Okay, another tip is if you're going to be going to a bar where you're ordering drinks, or maybe a restaurant or whatever, just have a few drinks in your back pocket that you like to order, ready to go. Because even now, 15 months sober, oh my God, it's so annoying. People are always like, are you going to be able to find something on the menu? Like, is there something that you like to drink on here? I'm like, there's always something for me. I will always have something. That's like just a little sobriety pet peeve of mine. But anyway, yeah, so have a few drinks that you like to order. I think this is especially true at bars, because I used to think to myself, what do I order at the bar now that I don't drink? Like, there's so few options. Newsflash, there's actually a lot of options. So have a few in your back pocket ready to go, and you will discover more and more the more you go out and do this. You'll see other people, you'll see a video on TikTok, you'll think of something yourself. There's a lot of fun things to try. To name a few, I've been loving soda water with lime, and that's a super cheap drink. Usually people give it to me for free, so I try to have cash on hand to just like throw them $10, and that way I can come up and get as many soda waters with lime as I want. And that kind of has me covered for my 3 that I might get. You can, of course, get diet sodas. You can get a 0 alcohol beer. You can get a mocktail. You can get orange juice and soda water. Oh my God, it's so good. That is like one of my faves at the moment. The options are really expanding, so just take a look, take inventory, and learn a few things that you like to order. Shirley Temples, oh my God, Shirley Temples are so good. I went to a bar the other day and they had recess in the cooler. Imagine that. Like in the refrigerator behind the bar. They had cans of recess? I could not believe it. It was my dream come true, so I ordered one of those. Several bars in Seattle have like a lot of NA options, which is pretty cool. So anyway, just have your go-to order ready to go. And like I said, bringing cash or something so you don't feel guilty about like having your bill be $1 or free or whatever. Like, cash is always nice for that situation. So, because, I've worked in the service industry and I don't want them to think like I'm not going to tip them and I'm just going to keep getting free soda waters without tipping. So I like to give them cash, and then it's kind of like I'm good for a little while, if you know what I'm saying. Okay. Another tip is to only do what you're comfortable with. I mean, it sounds obvious, but like, you don't have to be the same person that you were as a drinker. If you don't want to go to bars, if you don't want to do the same hobbies, you don't have to. I didn't like house parties when I was a drinker. I just always thought they were weird and pointless. And like, I didn't go to college. I didn't have the frat sorority experience. I don't get house parties. I don't understand them. Stand around and drink? Exciting. Yeah, not for me. But I especially don't like them in sobriety. Especially. And I've decided, you know what? I don't really need to go to those. There are some things you get invited to that you should go to, and some things that you just don't need to go to. And house parties are one thing where I'm like, I don't really need to be doing that. So, like, I don't want you to be a hermit and not do anything, but there's a lot of life to be lived outside of drinking. And if you're not comfortable at a bar or at a house party or at brunch or whatever, there are tons of other things to do. Tons. And in fact, being sober will show you what you actually enjoy. It will reintroduce you to your hobbies and your interests, and you will meet people who share your common interests instead of your common interest being alcohol. And the last tip I will leave you with is know when it's your time to go. Or as my mom says, leave on a high note. When you are out and alcohol is present and people are drinking, you might be having fun, you might be having a great time, and that's awesome. But in my experience, it reaches a point, usually at the 2 to 3 hour mark, where people start getting a little messy. And people enjoy doing the same thing for hours and hours and hours and hours when they're drinking. And me as the sober person, I'm kind of like, are we changing venues? Are we switching this up at all? Like, I don't want to just stay in the same place for hours on end. And drinking makes those types of activities a lot more fun. And then, of course, people are getting a little sloppy, a little, maybe over touchy, a bit weird, slurring their words, whatever. All these things that can be a little bit triggering in sobriety, where you're like, wow, these people are on a different level than me. And what I would like to say is leave on a high note. Leave while you're still having fun. Because once it dips into that zone of like you're not having fun anymore and you're annoyed with people and you're tired and whatever else, like then you will have a bad taste in your mouth of that experience. So leave while it's still fun. You stay a couple hours and you're like, okay, I see where this is headed. I'm gonna head on out. And don't be afraid of the good old-fashioned Irish goodbye. You know how when you're first starting to work out, a good mentality shift is to say, go for 5 minutes. That's all you have to do. And if you end up wanting to stay longer, great. If today's just one of those days where you only have 5 minutes, then go ahead and go home. You did 5 minutes. It's kind of the same with parties. Like if there's a party that you really need to show up to, maybe it's a work party, maybe it's your brother's birthday, whatever, like go show up, enjoy yourself, have fun until it starts to simmer down a bit. And you're like, okay, you came for your 1 hour, your 2 hours, whatever, and now you can head on out. You can even tell yourself, stay for 30 minutes. And if 30 minutes is all you've got in you, then fine, leave after 30 minutes. If you end up having a great time, stay for a few hours, but don't overstay because you feel pressured socially. Like, know your limits and stay until you're starting to see it go south or like you're starting to get over it, whatever, and then head on out and go home smiling because you had a great night. And enjoy the hangover-free morning the next day. Enjoy taking off all your makeup and taking off your jewelry and putting some evening skincare on and getting into your pajamas instead of passing out on the bed in your clothes with a full beat of makeup and waking up with a hangover at noon and drinking again just to get through the day. It's so much better in sobriety, isn't it? Life is just better. So hope this episode was helpful for you. If it was, feel free to rate the show, send to a friend. I would really appreciate the support in any way that you can. Thank you so much, and don't forget to join our Facebook group. I'll leave the link in the description. Bye, you guys.